And we're on.
All right. You'll learn to clap every time we start.
Clap.
Yeah, we'll be all trying to clap at the same time. It never works.
Never works. Never works.
Welcome back to the Current Your Podcast, folks. I'm Jacob. That up there is Mitch, and joining us for the first time, our newest team member, Calvin. How you doing?
Oh gosh, what the
I'm
heck?
good.
How you doing? He's another Detroiter, another Detroit native, so he's Michigan State for him. So it adds that that wrinkle. It adds that wrinkle. So it's not going to be all homers.
It has the number 5 team in the country fan base.
Yeah, it should be higher than number 5. It should be higher than number 5 next this game for tomorrow. Because rankings matter. The AP doesn't matter anymore. Ain't nobody care about the AP.
Cincinnati go down to 5 like per usual.
I can say right now, your ranking, as great as it is, does not matter until you beat Ohio State. If you beat Ohio State, then you don't got anything to worry about.
Yeah.
But you don't get it out. I don't think many people are. All right, but anyway, enough college football talk. You know him, you know him, you know me. We're talking about the NBA today. So we're doing our October episode. Let's see, we're 2 weeks into the season. We're just kind of going to react to how teams have been doing, what the standings are, not that it really matter. Pretty much all of this is overreactions because it's been 2 weeks. Our Pistons 1-0 with 0-5 was nothing. So we'll talk about that. But we're starting with the Eastern Conference. So sitting up top the standings, the New York Knicks they've been impressive. Kemba Walker's been playing pretty well. Evan Fournier's been a great addition to him. And then everybody was wondering what's going to happen with Julius Randle. Is he still going to be able to make shots after he kind of got exposed in the playoffs? Still been making those shots, and the defense has been holding up well. So I've watched 2 Knicks games this year when they played the Sixers on prime time, which they absolutely incinerated them, which was their first win against the Sixers since 2017.
Really?
Yeah.
But
The Pistons have beaten the Bulls in a couple of years. I don't think the Pistons have beaten the Bucks since 2017 either.
I wouldn't doubt it.
But yeah, it was like a 17-game win streak that the Sixers had on the Knicks. They finally beat them, and they embarrassed them. And then obviously the other one I watched was the Bulls, where they won by 1. So, any thoughts on the Knicks?
I for one did not know Kemba was on the Knicks. I thought he was still on the Hornets, but that's pushing my knowledge of basketball. But Julius Randle, most improved player last year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were saying. I thought you were just saying that rhetorically. Yes, he was.
No, that was
yes, he was.
So, most improved players. Yeah, this season we're seeing how they can build on that. How they can build on what they're the 4 seed last year.
Yes, they were in the 4 seed. They were in the 4 seed.
Yeah.
See if they can keep climbing the ladder. It's a fairly strong East conference this year, right?
The East has depth now.
It's solid for sure.
Great coach. Tom Thibodeau's a great coach. I mean, turning this Knicks organization around pretty much in 1 year with his just will to win and his defensive minded. When Derrick Rose was shooting free throws in Chicago, they were MVP, and I was like, that's cool. That's a W. Mitch, any thoughts?
I mean, obviously the Knicks they had a incredible season last year. Like Calvin said, Julius Randle winning the most improved last year. Complete turnaround from what the Knicks have been experiencing for a very long time. They're thinking, we're going to get someone like Kyrie Irving or Kevin Durant, and all these stars they're talking about coming to the Knicks. Didn't get any of them. Still had an incredible season. Now here they are, 5-1. I'm going to be honest with myself. I haven't really paid too much attention to the NBA. I am huge on football. I haven't really had a chance to even look at basketball that much, other than college basketball, because that's my thing as well. But I mean, this is still a really good start for the New York Knicks, and we'll see if they can build upon it.
Again, I'll just say for everybody saying this last year, I'm pretty much the NBA guy. I'm the one who's stupidly pays for League Pass that I can watch every single game and replays of every single game because I can. So, and if any of you own League Pass, we'll get to them in a minute. Watch the Charlotte Hornets. Best regional announcer.
Hey, Miles Bridges.
We got to Miles Bridges. When we got to the Hornets, I was going to say his boy Miles Bridges, but
Yeah.
Eric Collins lights it up as an announcer. He's so fun. Anyway, we're going on to the second seed, which is kind of been a game that, or a team that has been kind of shocking at everybody. The Washington Wizards sitting up here at 5-1. Bradley Beal has had some not so great games, but they've still been winning. Montrezl Harrell's looked good. I mean, obviously Tom Cruise has a chip on his shoulder, been playing well, and then they've just got a decently deep team. But even with a decently deep team, I can't say I've watched much Wizards. That's one of the teams I've not gotten around to, and they're surprised. I don't really have much to say about the Wizards besides congratulations for shocking.
Yeah, you'd think that like they'd be a lot worse. Like Bradley Beal has been stuck there for years now. Like over the offseason, one of the big storylines is he being traded or like he decided to stick it out with Washington, see if they can keep it up. But,
yeah. He's not stuck there. He's just, I don't know. I don't know if he just doesn't want to. If he could have left a long time ago if he really wanted to.
I think it's really surprising to see them actually doing this well at the beginning of the year. I mean, it's obviously 6 games that they played, but 5-1, I still think is pretty impressive considering their only good player really is Bradley Beal. I mean, that's their best player by far, and then it's like, well, then who else is there? KCP, we all know him. Yeah, no. Kyle Kuzma, Aaron Holiday. I mean, they have some deep, and Spencer Dinwiddie, of course, but
half of the Lakers' old roster.
Yeah, that too.
It's the Wizards plus half of the Lakers' old roster.
Yeah.
Corey Kispert's been playing pretty well. Obviously, drafty out of Gonzaga, he's been playing pretty well. You've got your boy, good old Cassius Winston there, but he's not getting much playing minutes. He's not getting much playing minutes.
honestly.
No. Oh, and Spencer Dinwiddie is starting to come back. But
another former Piston.
Yeah, Spencer Dinwiddie. They got a nice team, but I mean it's just a team of not superstars or all stars, but they're making it work, which
is shocking.
I know.
Hey, you see teams like that in sports, like the Rays, for example, in baseball. Like there's not one. That's a little more my experience baseball.
Yeah,
but like when you look through their roster, it's not like a guy that stands out specifically. It's like a by committee.
That's how the Pistons have literally always done it. I mean, yeah, you have Isaiah Thomas, but other than that, the entire team was pretty equal. And then obviously our 04 team was, you had Chauncey, but then you had Sheedy, Van, Hamilton, Trey. You had so many people on that team. Anyway, moving on. Another team that was this was the experiment we were looking to see. Number 3, the Chicago Bulls at 5-1. The big thing going into the season is everybody was thinking, oh, their offense is going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Because we know Zach LaVine is not that great of a defender. Mitch is not that great of a defender. Coming into the season, it's been the opposite. They failed in 2 games against the Pistons to put up 100 points. Now, granted, the Pistons' defense has been pretty good.
Pistons defense,
The Pistons' defense has been good. But still, they have not been able to put up a super amount of points, but their defense has been stellar. They're like one of the 6 best defensive teams in the country. And it was just this weird thing because that was the opposite of what you expected. But I mean, the Bulls are still look good. They have great players. Only loss is a 1-point loss at home to the Knicks. Other than that, they've been playing well. They beat the Jazz. They beat the Pistons twice, which is not saying much. But
yeah, no.
I wouldn't say that's the most quality.
Yeah, I mean, we still got a long ways to go, and I don't think this team is like top 2 or 3 in the East at the end of the season. But I think this is definitely a playoff team. I'm thinking somewhere from the 5 to 8 range, and at worst, they're a play-in team. I don't think they miss the playoffs unless they just absolutely. Isaiah Stewart had his number. More injuries.
Injuries, like you can't predict that. It's more in football.
Yeah. If this team stays healthy, they should be at least in the playoffs. I think.
Yeah, I can see this team like where the Knicks were last year, like the 4 spot. It seems like a. But yeah, I agree with you. Like above that, like I feel like we're going to see like the Bucks or the Nets, those top 2 spots. Because the starting those teams possess, it's hard to beat that.
Mitch, any thoughts on the Bulls?
I mean, honestly, when I saw that they had signed all the million stars that they had, I'm like, oh my gosh, how in the world is this going to? How is this going to work out? You got Zach LaVine, you got DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Nikola Vucevic, and like you got all these stars on the team. Who's getting the ball? Where? When? Who's scoring? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? There's so many guys who absolutely have to have the ball. I thought there was no way it would work, and I mean they're right now 5-1. I don't think it's really that sustainable. I think they'll definitely make the playoffs, but this is just a really weird looking team with so many, and they don't really. The thing about the Bulls that I don't really like the Bulls. Period. I'm a Pistons fan, obviously, but the thing about the Bulls I'm not very intrigued by is their 3-point shooting. They seriously lack a 3-point shooter, not named Zach LaVine. I mean, Lonzo's getting better at the 3-point shot, but DeRozan's not a 3-point shooter. And so it's just like you really are expecting all your 3-point shooting to come from your big guys. I mean,
I think they'll be able to keep it together, though. I think it was the playoffs, but I also don't know. I don't see them beating the Bucks or Nets in a 7-game series. I think they could. I think they could get to the semifinals, and honestly, if things work out properly with seeding, maybe make it to the conference finals. They would have to play some of the lower teams.
they're also missing Patrick Williams now, I believe, right?
Oh, that one. I don't know. I'd have to check, but that one would hurt. I watched a couple Bulls games just because they were one of the most interesting ones. Yeah, 4 to 6 months. That one hurts. And then Kobe White's out too, but that's not really that big of a deal.
Kobe White doesn't hardly even play anymore, I don't think.
Really, he played a lot. Didn't he play a lot as a rookie?
Yeah, and he was bad.
The Bulls also drafted him at number 8 or 7 for a reason. They were bad. All right. Moving on, we've got the Miami Heat at number 4. The Kyle Lowry experiment has been working well. Kyle Lowry not really doing many things that show up in the box score, but he's assisting well. He's playing well. He's playing really well, and he's just been a really good team player. Miami Heat have always been playing really well recently. I think with their only loss is a weird one at the Pacers, but they beat the Nets. They absolutely, or no, sorry. Oh yeah, that was regular season. They absolutely eviscerated the Bucks. Yeah, there was like 137 to 95. Yeah, they eviscerated them, and then they beat up on the Hornets, and then they won in Memphis, which Memphis has been pretty good this year too. So again, this is the team that I see as either 3 or 4. I see them as either 3 or 4. I don't think they are better than the Bucks or the Nets overall. But I definitely see them as either a 3 or 4 seed. Maybe minimum like 5-6 if like the Bulls or the Hornets overachieve.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Eric's Bolster team, a feisty team. This team, Tyler Hero's been bouncing back after a rough 2021 season. He's been looking good throughout the first couple games. And then Duncan Robinson, our boy Duncan Robinson, highest paid undrafted player in NBA history. So he's always been shooting lights out. So it's a good team, and the addition of Kyle Lowry to kind of not even space the floor, just facilitate, brings so much to this team. I think Tyler Hero specifically is benefiting from that.
Yeah. Yeah, because a guy like Lowry, like a longtime Toronto Raptor, it's like first year over, not in Toronto. I believe he was with Houston, correct?
No, he was. I think he was with Houston at some point. I think.
Okay.
So right now we're talking.
He was in Houston, then he's a Raptor. Like I believe most of his career. So the change of scenery, like Toronto and Miami are 2 very different cities.
Yes.
Different.
Very different.
Fan base, but he brought a title to the Raptors, him and Kawhi, a few years ago.
So he was drafted by Memphis, and then played in Houston until he was about 25, and then from 25 to 34, he played in Toronto. Mitch, any thoughts on the Heat?
I mean, this Heat team is. I've always liked Miami. I mean, this is a solid Miami Heat team. They have a great overall team. This is honestly the Heat. Yes, I love that jersey. By the way,
That's one of my favorite jerseys.
but this Heat team, honestly, it kind of reminds me a slight bit of the Michigan Wolverine team a couple years ago for basketball. Like the Michigan team was a collective group. It wasn't really one person necessarily. There was like Isaiah Livers, who was the best player probably on the team, and then there was some other pieces that kind of mixed in around it. And I kind of see that as well with Miami. Miami, they have they have Jimmy Butler, who's an outstanding player, and then they got some other connecting pieces like you got Kyle Lowry, you got Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson. You got a lot of connecting pieces that play in there and just make an outstanding group of guys, an outstanding team. And I think Miami definitely has a great team. I don't know if they'll beat Milwaukee, as they kind of got thrashed last year in the playoffs, but this Miami Heat team definitely does have some players, and they're looking to get farther with Kyle Lowry now.
I need to ask. This is how I differentiate Michigan the past couple of years. Which Wagner did we have at the time? Our fronts. Are you talking about the teams?
I'm talking about the Franz Wagner teams.
Oh, Franz Wagner. Okay. All right, moving on to the next team. Again, the team I was talking about, the League Pass team. Really fun team thus far. The Charlotte Hornets at 5-2. Only loss, they did get beat down on live TV against the Miami Heat. And losing overtime at home to the Celtics. They have been fun. LaMelo Ball's. He's been LaMelo Ball. Miles Bridges has freaking been going off. He was named to his first ever Eastern Conference Player of the Week for Week 1. I think he averaged like 30 points in Week 1. I'm gonna pull it up. Oh my gosh, he was going nuts because. All I ever thought of Miles Bridges, and I love Miles Bridges because he's one of those players that's just super fun to watch. But all I thought of Miles Bridges this whole time, I'm not gonna lie, has been he can dunk the ball. He's gonna be the one that they're gonna lob it up to, and he's gonna slam it, and Eric Collins is gonna go crazy. But he's been making his own. That's kind of what he was the first couple of years. But he's been making his own shots, and yeah, I've gotta see if I can find it here. But man, he was like 32 points, 34 points, 26 points in his first 3 games. And I'm like, geez, the Hornets have been fun. If you want to watch a League Pass team, watch the Hornets, not just because they're fun and their jerseys are really nice and their court's beautiful, but Eric Collins, like I said, he's just, I don't know if you guys have heard any calls from Eric Collins, but he's the one.
Yeah,
He's the one who just goes crazy. I think my favorite. My favorite one was against the Warriors last year. They threw it in the corner to Terry Rozier, and Terry Rozier gets a game-winning 3, and he goes, "Oh, Terry Rozier, how do you do?" And he says that all the time. It's so great because he's a fan. He just loves his Hornets. It's great. But the Hornets have been fun. I mean, obviously, the Nets beating the Trailblazers was a nice win, but other than that, they've beaten the Cavaliers, the Magic, and the Pacers. So I'm not getting ahead of myself just yet. They haven't played the best of teams, but they're going on a Western Conference road stretch here where they're going to play like the Lakers, Clippers.
The Clippers are without Kawhi, so
it is beatable, but it's still hard to win, especially on the road, especially when you're in Charlotte, and then you have to go all the way across the country to LA. Are consistently staying in hotels for a week and a half.
With the Clippers, it depends on what Paul George you get.
Sometimes it doesn't. There was a game that Paul George dropped 41 points and they still lost.
I don't doubt it.
That's about Reggie Jackson you get. Are you getting 2021 Reggie Jackson or are you getting Detroit Pistons?
Why even have Reggie Jackson, period?
Oh my gosh. Reggie Jackson is so mad.
Reggie Jackson was the bane of my existence last year as a Suns fan because he went off in the Western Conference Finals, and I'm like, oh,
I know.
Yet you still killed him.
We still won. We still won. Okay, any thoughts?
Like 600 turnovers.
Any thoughts on the Hornets?
I mean, Charlotte.
Oh,
go ahead.
Oh, Calvin, any thoughts on the Hornets? We'll go to that.
Okay.
Calvin's over here.
Yeah, it's always fun seeing a team that is not historically great and good. Like in my opinion, I don't like when the Celtics or Lakers or teams like that have had historical success. Like when they're good, like it's not as exciting to me as when a team like the Hornets or the Jazz is another one, I believe. The Suns, that's another great one. Hopefully, one day the Kings will not be add them to the list, but yeah, it's fun seeing teams that aren't like historically great. Yeah, Mitch.
I mean, for Charlotte, this is a. I mean, I know Charlotte has like LaMelo Ball and they have Gordon Hayward, I believe. Hayward is still with the Hornets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have, and Miles Bridges, of course. They have some decent players. Scary Terry, of course, I believe is still a Hornet as well. So
they got Plum God. They got Plum God from us.
Oh my.
Plumless, right?
They got Plum God.
Plumless.
He's terrible. He makes me so mad, 2K.
But this Charlotte team is very impressive. I think this team they're very young. This is a very young Charlotte team that's only going to get better over the years, and to see them playing this well, I think they're going to be right around that play-in game area. I think they have a very good chance of just slipping in, playing one of the 1 or 2 seeds. I mean, this team is a couple years away, I think, from being really good, but this Hornet team is definitely on an upswing for sure.
What were you going to say? You had a question?
Yeah. So no, it's something about Mason Plumlee. Like, what's he like? I know, like, I don't have Fox Sports Detroit or whatever it's called now on YouTube TV.
Valley Sports, and I don't know.
Yeah, Valley.
It's stupid.
So I can't really I don't watch a ton of Pistons games.
Valley Sports is stupid, but their graphics are much nicer. It's not just the solid color bar anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'd rather take the solid color bar and be able to watch the Tigers every day.
That's true. To watch them, yes.
But yeah, so like, is Mason Plumlee good at anything? Because when I watch highlights,
No.
like, he's the basic like 70s center that just like hits the ball and like plays it up. That's about it. Like,
he's a 30-plus-year-old center who's a gigantic bum. I'll tell you that much. We got nothing for him in our trade. And he's worth way too much. We paid him way too much money. Way too much money. It was such a stupid signing. We just got rid of him.
Yeah.
We signed Olenek. We just traded him away for like a low second-round pick. I think we had to give him a second-round pick to take him. It's so bad.
We signed Mason Plumlee to be the tank commander alongside you. That's literally what we signed him for. What we need the money for right now? We're not winning games. All right. The Philadelphia 76ers sitting here at 4-2. That looks pretty good. Obviously, you got the Ben Simmons still going on. I know week 1 he got thrown out of practice and suspended because he was throwing things and being upset. But Sixers are still playing well.
Ben Simmons.
Embiid, I think outside of the New York games, played dominant as usual. So yeah, I think this is a team that can finish somewhere in that 3 to 6 range. I don't really have much to say about them.
Yeah, I don't like the 76ers. I never have because
don't blame you.
Pistons fan, like, 1, it's the 76ers. 2, I don't like Joel Embiid just from him and Drummond. I think it was that they just always get really mad at each other when he was on the Pistons. And
do you know that? I forgot you know a little bit about NBA. The Drummond is on the Sixers.
What?
when Andre Drummond met Joel, like walked into the locker room with Joel Embiid, he gave him a hug, and Joel was just like,
That's so
But
good.
you can see on his face. You can see on his face that Joel Embiid was not happy.
So blame him. If my rival joined my team, I would be so mad.
Not even that. Andre Drummond just stinks now. I mean,
know. Like, rebounds,
he
he
killed him.
put up, like, I saw this one, or like a meme or something. It was like, Andre Drummond puts up the most, like, useless 30-30 games. It's like, it doesn't affect the ending of the game at all, but it put up, like, 30 points, 30 rebounds.
Drummond got scored multiple times and sauced up by Frank Kaminsky in the Western Conference first round. If you get sauced up by Frank Kaminsky, you don't deserve to be in the league.
He was that Wisconsin guy that one year.
And he's terrible. He's on our son's team, and my buddy Dylan and I just, where I was like, Frank, Daddy, let's go! We were like freaking out over Frank Kaminsky, and then he'll do some stupid play. Mitch, any thoughts on the Sixers?
Well, I always tried to figure out, like, what in the world was the thinking behind signing Andre Drummond when you have Joel Embiid as a starter. It didn't really ever make much sense to me. Also, the Ben Simmons, like you said, saga, all that is, I think, obviously in the window there for the Sixers. Obviously, people got to be thinking about their clown over there who throwing stuff, being an idiot in practice. I mean, you kind of expect that from Ben Simmons, but this Sixer team is, they're okay. I saw them go to the number 1 seed last year. I'm like, what in the literal heck? How did they get to the number 1 seed? And then they lose to the Hawks. I'm like, wow, what a surprise. They got exposed.
They're literally the Jazz of the Eastern Conference. They're really good.
Well, the Jazz are actually good.
They're really good in the regular season and then stink in the playoffs.
That's true.
One thing you can count on is the 76ers. You can count on that team chemistry always being there, you know, with Ben Simmons being the leader that he is, and go out and being stuff, you know.
100%.
You know they're going to give it their all and leave it on the court.
Now we got the 7th seed, the Toronto Raptors at 4-3 here. I mean, obviously this team's been really good because they're playing absolutely outstanding for the number 4 pick. Everybody was kind of like, passed up on Jalen Suggs, which not to say Jalen Suggs has been playing bad, because Jalen Suggs has been playing outstanding, but so is Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes has been playing really well, and then it's just the typical Raptors. I don't think they're going to hold on to a playoff spot throughout the entire year, because I think teams like the Boston Celtics and the Bucks and the Hawks, which are currently not in the playoffs, are going to bounce back into the playoffs pretty quickly here. They might make a play-in game, but I think it's just decent early season success. Scotty Barnes played well. That's really it. Calvin, any thoughts?
Yeah, so I actually was a huge fan of Scotty Barnes coming out of Florida
State.
Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State.
Where Michigan shut down.
Okay. He's a great defender. If I'm thinking of the right person, he's a great defender. He's a 3-and-D guy, right? Or
Yeah.
Kind of, but he can also slash pretty well. He's pretty good at attacking the rim. From what I've seen,
He's more of an all-around guy.
I haven't watched too much Raptors though, but I just know I've seen Scotty Barnes highlights.
Yeah, I agree with you saying. Like, people were surprised that Suggs was pick after. Like, I was honestly surprised as well, but I thought Scotty Barnes was an under the radar pick, especially for a team like the Raptors, like a team that's had players like that. Like, I think Pascal Siakam and Kawhi Leonard, like those are 2 players that are fairly similar to Scotty Barnes. So like a team like that with a coach like what's his name? But like I feel like they'll develop him well.
Nick Nurse.
Yeah.
Quickly, Mitch, because we gotta get this rolling a little bit.
Yeah, we're almost taking a half hour just to get through 7 teams, but
Let's get rolling on this. Quick points.
yeah, but I mean, for the Raptors, it was very surprising to me that they took Scotty Barnes. I'm thinking of the Florida player. My bad. So Scotty Barnes, I mean, he's a great player, but I think everybody saw those top 4 guys: Cade Cunningham, Jalen Suggs, Jalen Green, and Evan Mobley. Everyone saw those as the top 4 picks. And so when it came to the Raptors, everyone has assumed you'd take Jalen Suggs, and then they go Scotty Barnes, and everyone's like, "Whoa, what?" And I mean, I was very surprised, and I mean the Raptors are also obviously they're still missing. Why can't I think of his name? The power forward. God,
Yeah.
Yes, Pascal Siakam. They're missing Siakam still right now. So I'm surprised to see the Raptors 500. I mean, I'm thinking with Siakam coming back, they'll be actually a lot better. And Scotty Barnes is playing well, so that definitely will help out the Raptors this year. And yeah, I'm all for the Raptors having a good season.
Could make the play, but that means they have to be better than like a team like the Wizards, the Hornets, or the Celtics.
Wizards are in
That,
the game.
that Tennessee. We can breeze through these next three because these three are just contenders that just have had a weird start, had a rough start to the season. The Brooklyn Nets here 4-3. Obviously, we'll wait to see what's going to happen with Kyrie Irving. Wait to see on that issue, and then Harden hasn't been playing insanely well, but again, I'm not overreacting. They've played 6 games or 7 games. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to overreact just yet, so I think it's just tumultuous. This was last night. So, oh man, I think it was
not a very. That's not a good benchmark to tell how.
It was 117 to 91, and it was close-ish, and got rejected in the third quarter, and it was semi-close, and then Nets just destroyed in the fourth quarter without Kevin Durant. So that tells a little bit more, even if it's the Pistons.
Well, former almost MVP that 1 year, Blake Griffin, the 1 year with the Pistons where he somehow was back in his prime for like a season. And we wore him. I went to a playoff game that year. I went to the game 3 against the Bucks. I don't know. I know they lost by a lot, but
I was about to say, all I know is they lost. They haven't won a playoff game since 2008.
Yeah, because Blake Griffin was hobbling on one leg half the game, so it was he basically carried us into the playoffs.
And it was the Bucks, but yeah, I mean, I think it's just early season struggle for the Nets. That's really it.
Yeah, basically.
All right.
I think weighing down Brooklyn right now a little bit is obviously the issue with Kyrie Irving. You gotta think. I mean, these three you got the big three of Harden, Irving, and Durant, and they're counting on those three to be there. And Irving, well, no one knows where his head ever is at any point in any given time. But I mean, Irving is obviously a great player, and missing him is obviously a big loss for Brooklyn. And honestly, I think until he gets vaccinated, which you never know what in the world Irving's going to do until he gets the vaccine, I don't think he ever sees the floor. But Brooklyn's got a great team. And I think if they can figure it out with just what they have and just expect to not have Irving probably all year long, that's what I expect. They don't, because I expect that to happen. They also got Joe Harris, great player. Blake Griffin, I think, is still has something left in the tank, and I think they still have LaMarcus Aldridge, and he come back from retirement.
Yeah, very well. I mean, Kevin Durant last year, basically by himself, was a shoe size away from sending the defending champions home. Mm-hmm.
And he should have.
In Game 4, Kyrie Irving was hurt in Game 4. Harden was not the same in that series after he came back from injury, and he was a shoe size away from ending the Bucks season. Still, without Harden or Irving. So it's still going to be a team to watch out for. Because Kevin Durant, I don't know, it's between him and Giannis, but I would put my money on Kevin Durant is the best player in the world. But
Giannis is I honestly.
I was about to say
I can't stand
an argument for Giannis. You can make an argument for Giannis or Kevin Durant.
It's Durant.
I think it's Giannis or Durant, and if you have Giannis or you have Durant, I'm not going to say you're wrong.
Yeah,
I like LeBron better than Durant, or not Durant. I'm sorry, Giannis. I think Durant in the league is the best right now. Then I'd say LeBron and then Giannis.
I say Giannis. I watched Giannis kill us in person. I
I can't honestly, I can't stand Giannis. The only thing that makes him good is he's 7 foot. Is he's 7 foot and he's athletic. That's the only thing he's good at. He can't shoot whatsoever. He is not a shooter. Not a shooter. He is getting better at it, and I'm telling you, if he does get better at shooting, he will be unstoppable. There is no one in the league that will stop him if he can develop a shot. Right now, he doesn't really have that. But he can slash to the rim, and he can dunk, and he can lay it up, and that makes him already pretty unbelievable. But until he develops a real great shot, and I mean, he has a decent one. He's gained, like I said, he's gained a lot better at shooting. But until he becomes consistent at it, I still would take Durant.
I wish I could. Well, I'd take Durant, but I would still put Giannis over LeBron at this point. I would say I would be 50-50, but I'm a Suns fan, so I had to watch him absolutely torch the free throw line. Like, teams were basically, we were taunting him. Like, I have videos on my phone of every single time he went to the line. 1, 2,
and he goes over every single time, but he just let it go anyway.
I don't know. And then I can't say because look, I don't know, Calvin, if you watched any of the finals, but
I watched the finals.
Did you watch game 5 where Booker got stripped and they threw it down to Giannis at the other end? Yeah. I was in person behind the basket, obviously up in the rafters, but I was behind the basket. So I have seen firsthand how terrible that face right there.
Like I said, he is a dunker. He can do that.
In the moment, I was depressed. Afterwards, I'm like, wow, I just witnessed one of the most iconic moments that's gonna be remembered.
A Drew Holiday steal. It's honestly great.
I was depressed. This counts as our Bucks coverage. We're not going to talk about the Bucks. We already know. We talked about them. We talked about Giannis. He does have a new shot form though. So it was looking pretty good in the preseason.
Isn't he more efficient from 3 too? Isn't his 3-ball increase?
Yeah. His shots been
to what 20%?
Once he gets a consistent jump shot, the league is dead. The league is dead.
Well, yeah, he'll hit like 60 points a game. There's no one in the league that can stop him if he can develop a consistent shot. That there's no question.
He's 29% from 3.
That's not from last year.
No, it's actually down from last year. But his attempts are up. He's 29% on 4.4 shots a game, whereas last year he was 30%, but only on 3.6 shots per game. So
I still wonder why he even attempts it.
And then his field goal percentage is 60%. So we're not gonna.
Well, because he lays up and dunks. You take out layups and dunks, it might be around 30 again.
Takes mid-range shots.
Don't remind me. He actually hit a lot of those in the finals. Oh man. Okay.
Anyway, I'm tired of talking about. I hate Milwaukee. So Atlanta.
Atlanta. Trae Young good. Everybody else good.
Yeah, I was born in Georgia, so I kind of inclined to like.
They're a good team. I'll just say that they're a good team.
I don't remember Bogdanovich or whatever his name is, right?
Yeah, last year.
Whatever.
Yeah,
whichever one it is, I forget. Whichever Bogdanovich, is it Bogdan or I don't know.
Bogdanovich.
Oh, okay.
Bojan is on the Jazz.
Okay.
I don't really got much to say about the Hawks because they're pretty much the exact same team.
Yeah.
Again, we're gonna skip over, but we talked enough about the Bucks. The Cavaliers, Evan Mobley. Woo! Evan Mobley has looked good. They have this man on the top of the key throwing entry passes at points. He has looked good, and his defense has looked great. And I'm just thinking, if he rises to a Defensive Player of the Year caliber, who is scoring on that front? Who is scoring on a front court of Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen? Tell me now, who is scoring on that front court besides like Giannis?
Cleveland, the Cavs' entire team just is so weird. They have so many big men, and they're all good. I mean, they have a lot of they have good big guys, but it's like you got Darius Garland and then Colin Sexton in the front court. And then there's Lauri Markkanen, Jarrett Allen. You're paying all this money to guys in the front court, and it's like, how are you going to get all these guys into the game all at the same time or at any point? It's just there's way too many big guys on the team.
It's good to have. It is always good to have depth, though, but they don't really have much depth at the guard position. They don't have good guard depth. They don't have. And then obviously they're trying to run Lauri Markkanen to 3 at points, and I'm like, that's not going to work.
Yeah, that's not.
Because they have Lauri Markkanen, Jarrett Allen, Kevin Love is still on the team. People forget about that.
He existed.
And then Evan Mobley. I mean, that's 4 solid big players. You're gonna try and put like Jacob said. I had no idea Lauri Markkanen was being tried at the 3. That makes absolutely no sense. But
That's the 10th in the game. That's not even like a spacing on them.
I think the Cavaliers shoot, but Cavaliers are on that edge of playing team and not. If they play good and some of the other teams that should be in the play-in slip up, they can make the play-in. But
if they develop a actual front court, that'd be a lot better. I can't stand Cleveland either.
They have like 2 point guards playing. Like Garland and Sexton are both point guards, right?
Sexton
have like
shooting guard. He likes to check.
He's a very small shooting guard.
He's an undersized shooting guard.
Yeah, he's undersized. That's undersized. But then you have on the front court end, you got Jarrett Allen, who's basically a center, and then you have Mobley, who's basically a center. They're both like, what, 7 foot?
And then Lauri Markkanen is like a 7-foot shooting guard, like Kristaps Porzingis. KP is a 7'4" shooting guard. Okay, we'll get to him in the next video. Then the Boston Celtics have been struggling. It seems either Jason Tatum is on and Jaylen Brown is not on, or Jaylen Brown is on and Jason Tatum's not on. Jason Tatum's been able to put up a lot of points, but he's taken like 40 shots to get there. So his efficiency has been terrible. And then Jaylen Brown still coming off that positive COVID case. He said he's felt exhausted ever since, which I mean, I understand. I'm 3 weeks removed from COVID now, and even I'm still feeling like, not that I feel like tired, but it takes a lot less work for me to be tired.
It takes a toll on you.
Exactly.
Longer than 2 weeks that you have it, like the recovery time. Like my mom had it back in August, and she still hasn't gotten her taste or smell back. And it's, she had a fairly bad taste.
Okay, my girlfriend lost her taste, but only for like 3 weeks. Not even like 2 weeks. I didn't lose my taste, so I had a very light taste, thank goodness. But yeah, Duns do not look good thus far. Marcus Smart got signed to a big extension and has stunk recently on the offensive end.
That's not what it signed.
Marcus.
It's signed for defense.
But this defense is not. There's a point where your defense does not make up your offense, especially in an offensively driven modern NBA.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Celtics have not looked great thus far, so I won't overreact too much. But not a good thing. Mitch, any quick thoughts? Because we got to get through this video.
I mean, Boston's chemistry has never really seemed to have been there. And, I mean, with their team, Tatum's good, Brown is good. But, I mean, like I said, the chemistry just never really seems to work out. For some reason, it doesn't really seems to go all together for Boston. I don't know why, but it just never seems to all work out for the Celtics. And once again, just sluggish start, not really looking too good.
Exactly. Bottom 3, the Pistons at 1-5. Their offense has been absolutely terrible. They have broken the 100 mark twice all season.
Now that Kid Cunningham is back, the Pistons are going to start playing a lot better. I'm telling you that right now.
They will, but they're still definitely nowhere near the plan. They're one of the bottom. They're definitely going to be one of the bottom 3 teams of the East. I mean, yeah.
You'd rather, like, for years of mediocrity in Detroit, you'd rather be bad for 2 or 3 years, get some good players like Cunningham. Like, this isn't a very strong draft class coming up. I do know that. But, like, you never know with, like, the college season. will emerge.
And it's better than what we did in the 2010s, where we kept trying to tool around on the drum and we stayed in mediocrity. We would either just miss the playoffs, or if we got in, whoop-de-doo, we get swatted off by LeBron, or we get swatted off in 4 games by Giannis. But now we can actually rebuild, and hopefully in a couple of years we can build our way up. But obviously they're going to stink this year. That's all I have to say. Even with Cade coming back, they're going to stink this year.
I mean, I'm excited for the Pistons' future. You got Cade Cunningham, you got Luka Garza, you got Sadiq Bey, you have Isaiah Stewart. I love beef.
Isaiah Stewart? Oh, I know. Come on, man. Isaiah Stewart.
I was about to say Isaiah Stewart. Beef stew. Awesome.
Okay, well, there we go. It took a second. But beef stew is amazing. But yeah, not much to talk about. And the Magic they're going to stink too. Suggs look pretty good thus far. The Magic just stink.
Yeah, the Orlando, the Magic's young team. They're obviously rebuilding. Don't expect much from them. The Pacers are garbage. They're garbage.
I was talking about the Magic. But the Pacers are also pretty bad. The Pacers are got, and then the 15 seeds, the Pacers. They're going to have to make a trade here soon.
Oh.
Did you want to say something?
I don't
Okay.
care about the Magic.
Okay.
About the Magic, except it sucks. So.
And the Jim's have been playing well. Willie's giving.
Don't they have Fultz too?
They do. They have a lot of guards. They have Cole Anthony, and they have RJ Hampton. They have a lot of guards. It's just not been working. Something's got to go. That front court's got to change. So either Sabonis or Turner's got to go. I don't really know what to say. I think we're good.
Yeah.
My brother's playing the saxophone in the background. You hear that? I don't know if you can.
I actually cannot.
Slightly. If I tune in on it. But that's it for the Eastern Conference video. Look out for the Western Conference, and we're going to be doing a video on the city jerseys because that's my thing. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, I'm Jacob. That's Calvin. That's Mitch. You got anything to say, Mitch? Because I know you have your initial outro.
No, they basically know where it is. But if you're new and you don't, I'll just do it for fun. Right above me should be where the latest video is. If you want to go all the way on the right will be our other NBA episodes. That'll be above Calvin. Right in the middle, you can subscribe to the channel. Thank you for listening, everyone. Until next time, see ya.
Peace out.